why we say data as a sixth factor of productions? For the economies, the classical economies are based on the theory that there are three factors of production. The three are labor, land, and capital. Then subsequently, the fourth factor are added into the theory, that is entrepreneurship. Alright? So there are four factors of production. Then one sixth. So there's another stage. Alright? So that is not too long ago, I think we are talking about the clean economy. So for the clean economy, people are start considering for those states we think is a free. The natural capital, for example, air is free. You don't need to pay. You can breathe. Am I right? But soon the air will be free, especially the clean air. Alright? Because of the pollution, because of the ecological balance, disturbance of the ecological balance. So therefore, the natural capital it won't be free anymore. So we have to take in the fifth factor of production, that is the natural capital. So that is the fifth factor of production, especially when we are looking in clean economy. Alright? Then now comes to the digital age. There is a digital economy. So data will be the sixth factor of productions. By having the data, we are able to using the informations you don't have to generate. By using the information you have to generate information you don't have. So that is the digital economy. Our current daily data production is about 2.5 quintillions. What is 2.5 quintillions? So that is the number with 18 number of zero, which is equivalent to 2.5 million of 1 terabyte hard disk you have. So that is our daily data production amount. By the time I'm speaking here, every second there's a 40,000 Google search. And there are 4.1 million are watching YouTube in 1 minute, every minute. By the time I end my speech, there's a 144 million content have been posted to Facebook every hour. Of course, including mine, because we have a Facebook live streaming now. Then there's a 3.7 billion are using internet every day. So that is the data we are using. The word is in a data file, or we call it datafication. Data is now being mined from our activity, our conversation, photo and video, sensor, or the Internet of Things. I think we all know Pythagorean's theorem, a squared plus b squared equal to c squared. Pythagoreans, the Greek philosopher, has said in 2,500 years ago, number ruled the universe. Of course, some of you might not agree, number and data is different. But data is number. Data is 0 and 1. Or to be more exact, 0 and 1 rule the world, rule the universe. For the construction industry, data are generated in huge amount of quantity in design, construction, occupancy, and maintenance. Data contain greater variety are arriving in increasing volume with ever higher velocity. So that is the 3V of big data we are talking about. The other V is coming up. The real value is not the large volume of data, but how to turn vast amount of the complex data into value. So the data itself not useful until they are processed. Data need to process to become the informations. We can only gain the knowledge from the information. After gain the knowledge from the informations, then we will only have the wisdom to make our decisions or the next stage of the work. So, being 360 are able to connect all the work you are working. What we try to say here is the technology is available. Right? Besides that, Autodesk have launched, I think that is about 3 months ago, Construction IQ, which are able to analyze the building project safety. For example, so these are the informations they are able to do with the BIM Construction IQ. Not only Autodesk, Horror Builder, they have a system you can capture the construction site in 360 degrees. Alright? Like this gentleman, what he holding is something like a camera. Then is able to upload the information to the system. It is something like that, and you can capture, upload, and share the information, etc. Other than this, we have the smart grid. Smart grid can actually read the photo, so it's able to read the photo once you capture it. For example, so based on the photo, you can analyze those safety issues. Like you can identify the person, whether wearing the safety boot or whether wearing the hard hat or not. And there's Alice. Alice are able to analyze and do the construction planning and rescheduling. I believe a lot of people here, you are doing a program, CPM or whatever. So most of the time, when we are involved in doing the planning, is because you miss the deadline. Then probably you need to redo your program. But how many times you have a yearly plan with a different version so that you can have a best program coming up? You follow what I mean? Generally, we try to, as long as we plan, then we come up with one program. So that program can meet the deadline, and generally the resources, no problem, we are happy about it. But do we know that the plan we plan, how do we know whether that is the best plan? Or are there a better plan? So therefore, I think most of the time, we are not doing that. But with the artificial intelligence and the machine learning, actually you can get the plan, multiple of plan, and which you can make a decision to choose which one you want. So that is one of the functions of the arrays. We also have a dozer. Dozer can help us to capture the progress at the site. Alright? We can use a drone and or the rovers to capture the program at the site and producing the report by automations. Then about the connectivity, the last thing I want to talk about is a digital twin. Digital twin has been identified by Gartner. So Gartner are always coming up every year to tell us what are the latest technology as at today. So for the 2019, the technology trend, one of the technology is a digital twin. What is a digital twin? Digital twin actually is a replica of the physical asset. That means you will have a digital asset. In order for you to do the more advanced predictive analysis. Now, for all the while, when we are running the construction project or whatever, or even in any other project, most of the time the construction manager or project manager having another name, which is known as firefighter. Because every day you go to the site, the new problem arise. So you have to put out the fire. All the time we are doing firefighting sort of activity. Until that, you are not managing the project. You don't have time to plan. You don't have the time to think. All right. So with the digital twin, actually is able to do more predictive analysis. So you spend more of your time to carry out those predictive activity. So the digital twin, the concept is something like that. You have, first of all, you have your project data. Alright. So from the project data, you start to do the construction. You have a construction data. After the construction data, then you have various sensors. So you are able to collect all the sensor data and also the SPU data. So all these will be connected digitally and with the physical asset. So that based on that, you can start to analyze, to learn the behavior and the history, the usage of your physical asset. So after that, all the insight, all the knowledge you gain, you can use it for the predictive analysis. Or while we are occupying your building or your asset, it will provide the input for you to further improve the operation of your asset. Britain in this case have go very advanced, so they have come up. There is a plan on digital build Britain. It's not only digital building, isolated building. So they are ambitious, they are very ambitious. It's a digital build Britain. And the research center for digital build and Britain, they come up with as I reported 2 months ago, the national digital twin, the roadmap for the digital twin. And they come up with the Germany principle, which set up the proposed principle to guide the national digital and the information management framework that will enable it. Because once we talk about the digitalize, collect your data, so everybody worry about the privacy of the data, etc. So they come up with the Germany principle, which cover the 9 areas. All right. Or we can categorize it to purpose, trust, and the function. So the Germany principle, you can Google and look at the detail. What is this all about? Anyone know where is this building? If you don't know this building, but I think quite a number of you are using their product. This is Gordon Headwater. Are you using Gordon software? Yes. Okay. So this is the actual building, the physical building. So this is the digital twin they are producing. So it is India headquarters. There is a center in their headquarters whereby they have all the AR, VR, etc. Okay, so I have the opportunity to visit their headquarters last year. So with a group of the academicians from all the institutions. So that is the thing we're seeing how they do it.
Currently, our biggest efforts are in the United States with a large private organization and some government organizations. In the Netherlands, where we've been there for over 10 years. In Saudi Arabia, where we're taking a very state-of-the-art idea and trying to implement it among people who don't know anything. Our claim to fame is, my profession is all about knowing almost everything without knowing anything. People think that I'm kidding, but I travel a lot to speak to people about how to know almost everything without knowing anything. And the reason for this is, the more you need to know, you have to think more, think less. More. You have to think more. Your stress level is going to go up or down. And your performance will always go down. That is a natural law. Right? And so, one of the tenets of my whole presentation is, you need to keep it simple whenever you talk to anybody else. Or, if you make other people think when you talk to them, you're not helping anybody. And I believe that's a natural law. Now, this is a very hard concept to implement in a university, where some of the people in the university think it's their job to make you think more, work harder, and pass a lot of exams where you have to memorize a lot of things. It's a totally different approach to how to learn and how to become very successful. We're in France today because in the project management area, we have a couple young people who are actually going to get their PhD in how to implement this to be the project manager of the future. And then there's a circle in between. If you've ever been into Europe, if you go from Lille, France, up north, to get to the Netherlands, you have to cross a country called Belgium. And the people in Belgium have just figured out that they want to implement this up and down the supply chain. Now, this presentation is really for project management across any industry. It's not only for the construction industry. The latest 2 books that we put out were just done last week. And if you want a copy of this, pass the survey again for Dr. Shia, and he will make this accessible to you. One is a logic book, and one is a process book. This model here, I created in 1991, and it's still good today. And what it says is that every industry is based on competition and performance. And there's 2 ways of using this. There's a big group of people who say, if we increase the competition, it helps us to get the vendors to drive the cost down. That's the majority belief. We increase competition so that we can drive the cost down. The other way of thinking is people who say, we need to identify people who know what they're doing, and they will drive the cost down because they're actually good at what they're doing. It's two different philosophies. The top should be cheaper. If people know what they're doing, they will always be better. When people know what they're doing, they can see into the future. So let's talk about this. Do experts think more or think less? Less. For example, if I run 100 tests of releasing this water bottle, what percent of the time in the 100 tests, after I release the bottle, is it going to stay suspended in the air right there? What's the answer? You know that, or you should know that very quickly without thinking. And the reason you know that is because before I even run the test, you know that every time I release it, the bottle will fall. In other words, you can actually see into the future before it even happens. Experts always see into the future. Experts, as soon as they get a little information, they're actually seeing into the future. They can see what's going to happen. Then they look around at all the other stakeholders who they have to work with, and they quickly realize that all the other stakeholders cannot see. Come on in. When somebody cannot see into the future, this is what they can see. Almost nothing. These people think more or think less? More, because they don't know anything. In other words, people who know less think more. That is a natural law. Experts see into the future. Experts think less. If people can't see it simple, it's complex. When it's complex, people think more. If you're thinking a lot in your job and in your work, you're in the wrong field. Am I making sense? Because even if you may be very intelligent in a certain area, if you're in the wrong job, you're always thinking, you're always making decisions, and your stress level is going to go what? You're in the wrong place. It doesn't matter what you got your degree in. You have to find something that you love and something where you can see into the future. Where to you it's what? Simple. You cannot stay in an area where it forces you to continue to think, forces you to continue to make decisions. Because your stress level is going to go up, your risk is going to go up, and you're not liking what you do. Once again, it doesn't matter what your degree's in. It doesn't matter what you thought you wanted to do. If you're under the age of 30, you can find out that you can look at 2 or 3 other jobs very easily and find the one that you really enjoy. That is the greatest lesson you can learn as a young person. Now, if you're older, sorry. It is what it is. Experts see into the future. Experts think less. Experts always can make it simple. I'm pretty old. I only have 3 or 4 brain cells left. When a student comes up to me and they're talking for more than a minute, I tell them, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I want to keep my remaining brain cells. So please go find an expert, right, who can help you. That sounds funny, but it's true. Right? After a point in time, you begin to realize the more somebody does this, the less they know. When does it start? They're born. This is something that comes with your package. So you have to find out who you are, right? We found out a phenomenal fact. We used to think that the problems in the construction supply chain were caused by procurement. In other words, we thought that the people who were buying were actually buying low price, meaning they would get the people who were less good at what they did. They were non-expert. We found out that this is not the problem. We found out that the problem is actually, in an environment like that, problems are caused because people can't see. They don't actually know. One person is trying to direct another person. How many of you remember your parents doing this to you? This is not optimal. So please, when you get married, don't do this to your kids. This is not optimal. Okay. Let's talk about the hands now. If this is an owner that wants to buy a service and this is an expert, is this a good thing? Telling the expert what to do? No. Because you're too busy talking. You're not listening. The one who knows how to do it is the expert, not the people who think they're the expert. Normally, the people who talk more are normally not the expert. Because experts can see, and experts realize that if you keep doing this, you can never help. This is not good. In an organization where the boss does this, is this an optimal thing? No. In the United States, we call this micromanagement. We don't like working for a boss who does this all the time. Is this a good thing, where everyone is passing information to the boss? What do you think? Good thing? Okay, look. If you pass information to the boss, does the boss have to think more or think less? You know they have to think more because the boss's stress level will go which way? And every boss can take only so much information. When they can't take the stress anymore, they cut the flow of information off, they make a decision, and then they tell everybody what to do. It's a natural law that this will always lead to what? This. The only reason people don't like this, but they like this, is because they can't see into the what? Future. This is such an important point. In education, this is the greatest thing that we need to teach young people, how to see into the future. Now, this is the difficulty with this. Who do you think we have more of? People who can see into the future or people who can't see into the future? What do you think the answer is? It's this one. We call this non-observant people. In other words, regardless of how long they look at something, they can't see anything. The majority of the people are non-observant. and cannot see into the future. So they have to do more of what? Thinking. Then they have to make more decisions. Their risk will always go what? And their life will always be happier or less happy? Less happy. That is why we need automation. Because when automation comes, people don't have to what? If you can utilize the automation, you can be like a very observant person. That is the key to using automation. Because regardless of what you think, most people are not observant. The people who are observant, who can see into the future, they're rare. But if you are that person, you have a tremendous opportunity in this life. If you're not that person, don't worry about it. Learn to utilize artificial intelligence, information systems, and automation. Okay? But it's transparency versus non-transparency. When everyone can see, we have an expert. And the expert made it so simple that everyone can see. Right? That's what an expert does. They make it so simple that regardless of what we can see, everybody understands. And that's transparency.